I mean, you've told us a lot about Maddie there, and I sort of want to get into things like whether you consider her condition was triggered by the horse racing industry and early training, or too hard, too early training. We can touch on that, perhaps.
Yeah, you know, I have grown up with, my dad has a big horse racing fan. He's owned racehorses. He's never ridden them. He's never trained them. He's owned them. So I've been in the winner's circle. I've always been quite immersed in kind of the racing and the gambling side of horse racing. Mm-hmm. So I have where I have a lot of respect for horse racing is the athleticism. The athleticism of the jockeys and these horses is fantastic. You see, like, and everyone, you know, it's the taboo subject of the Grand National. I think you look at these horses as pure athletic machines, and they are fantastic. The muscle and the strength that goes into these sorts of jumps, and the sort of, you know, the heart of gold and the bravery of these jockeys is fantastic. I personally could never do this. However, when you come down to the training from an anatomical point of view, yes, I do think they are started too early. However, I see why they are started early, because to get a good racing record, you have to do a lot of races, and they've got to win and they've got to lose some. And the older they get, it's like with anything, with age, the muscles start to age, the fiber velocity starts to reduce, the metabolism of these muscles and the tensile strength that they can produce ultimately decreases. That's what happens with age. Don't
we know it, Mike?
Yeah. Can we change the subject here? Yeah.
I did a 15-mile walk at the Brecon Beacons at the weekend. I'm still feeling it now.
Yeah, particularly over, when you get really elderly, like 40 years old or something.
Oh, yeah.
Not old.
Carry on, Emily. We so rudely interrupted you.
No, I do think that, as physiotherapists, we're taught about skeletal maturity and when bones fully ossify. And it is a very well-known fact. And I'm sure if any physios are listening to this, they are kind of screaming at me saying, say it. The spine ossifies at 6 years old. So when you put a rider on the horse at 2, their spine hasn't fully matured, which is why you have such a high prevalence of kissing spines and all these orthopedic conditions in racehorses. Now, don't quote me to any research because I can't give you that. It's just from my own experience. I've seen so many racehorses with kissing spines. One of my big mentors said, if you x-ray any x-race horse's spine, you'll find some point that's kissing, and you've got to think logically. Putting the weight of a person, yes, it's a jockey and yes, it's reduced weight, it's still going to do something to the biomechanical stresses of the spine. So therefore, of course, it has its downsides, but because it's such a big part in kind of the equestrian kind of name, as soon as you think of horses, you think of horse racing. If you're like a complete layman, you don't think of the beautiful show jumpers or the endurance riders or the dressage. You think of the races that is on every Saturday on Betfred or Bet365. That's who you think of. And, I don't agree with them from a physio standpoint, being raced at 2 and 1 for some ages. But I think the racing industry has come quite far in comparison to where it has been in kind of training methods and kind of understanding the biology and the anatomy of the animal.
Yeah, it has indeed.